We want to go and have a good hard look at what's performing well, what's working well, what's converting. So if we're taking those unicorn pieces that rank well and convert well, those are the ones you want to focus on first, and we want to expand on them. See if you have a piece that's performing really well, but is obviously dated, and then just make it evergreen.
You're listening to the Keep Optimizing podcast to increase your traffic, improve your conversion rates, and grow your profits.
Hello and welcome. I'm Chloe Thomas, the host of this e-commerce marketing focused podcast. If you're not familiar with our format, well, every 5 episodes, we switch our focus to a different marketing method. It could be email, it could be SEO, it could be content marketing like we're doing this time. And then we pick up the thread from the last time we covered it, or we start a brand new thread. Depends on whether we've covered it or not. And then in each individual episode, we release a new one every Wednesday. I interview a different expert to explore the latest advice on making it work for you. Now, at the moment, we are picking up the content marketing thread again. It's a very busy, heavy thread, the content marketing thread, because we've done a lot, and a lot of our SEO episodes obviously fill in with it as well. In the last 2 episodes, we've been very big strategy focused, looking at the big content marketing strategy topics. In this session, though, we're getting super duper practical, tackling 2 of the trickiest things to do in content. First off, come up with good ideas for content. And secondly, make sense of all your ideas in the dreaded content calendar. My guest is going to be giving us loads of ideas for creating and coming up with good ideas for your content. And then she's going to give us some super practical, easy to follow advice on creating your content calendar. Plus some very, very sensible advice around AI. And if you listen right to the end, you'll get her insider tips as well, where she's giving us some very cool advice as well. Plus a must-read book at the end. So you're going to have to stick around right to the end so you catch the book. Have you yet downloaded our ebook? To celebrate Keep Optimizing's sister show, eCommerce Master Plan, reaching episode 500, yeah, it's been around that long, we've created an epic e-commerce success-focused ebook. It's packed with 500 top tips about how to make your e-commerce store more profitable. And I've personally organised the whole thing into sections, so you can dip in and dip out and take inspiration as and when you need it. This ebook needs to be sat on your desktop. Download your free copy right now at keepopt.com/ebook. Get 2024's most valuable e-commerce ebook now, keepopt.com/ebook. In this episode, I'm chatting with content marketing expert Abby Wood. Abby is the founder at content writing agency The Content Lab. And if you need copy for websites, for blogs, for marketing, they will produce it for you. Hello, Abby.
Hello, thank you so much for having me today.
Great to have you here. How did you end up in the world of content marketing?
I've been here for about 13 years now, and originally myself and my partner Nick set up an e-commerce agency. So that's how I started. We started off just the 2 of us working on the sofa during the depths of recession in 2010. Couldn't get work anywhere else, and just said, you know what? We'll make our own agency. That's still going today. I'm in website design. That's still going well. That's his now. I've kind of separated the 2 businesses, so he takes care of that. And now I have the Content Lab, which is my baby. So I have a team of 8 very talented copywriters and content marketers. And it's great to get paid to do something that you absolutely love, I think. So it's nice for us to just focus on the words. The in-house joke is we're word nerds, kind of a lot of the memes and stuff that we share are punctuation based, which isn't for everybody, but they certainly love it. But yeah, that's it. Just kind of started writing websites and really loved it, and kind of very much self-taught, but over the years done a lot of courses, done a lot of reading, and just love it.
Very cool. And I don't think there's anything wrong about your content team sharing memes of punctuation jokes. At all. I think that's almost an interview style question, isn't it? Do you find this funny? There's no apostrophe in the wrong place. How does this make you feel?
Well, I have to use that.
Yeah, screw getting them just to proofread or, edit something to spot the typos. Give them the memes.
Exactly. Are you going to be a cultural fit? Do you like this meme?
Yeah. Can you tell what's actually wrong with it? I love that. That's such a cool idea for a job interview. Right, okay. Tangenting again. Always tangenting. Right, so clearly loads and loads about creating content for the static content on the site, as well as that kind of ever evolving blog and other content that we have to produce. But often I find e-commerce businesses in particular, someone goes, yeah, we should be doing more content. And then someone goes, yeah, it's a great idea. Someone goes, yeah, I'll write it. And someone goes, what are we going to write? And there's that moment of fear, the empty whiteboard of death, or the tumbleweed going through the Zoom call, or the, white paper page paralysis crops in. So is that something, you've frequently come across, people having just that absolute pain of, we know we need to do something, we've got no idea what to actually create?
Absolutely. Especially for e-commerce, because when you run like a service-based business, it's like a lot more of the content can be evergreen. Whereas if you run an e-commerce company, or you're a digital agency that specializes in e-commerce or whatever, I know our wonderful audience listening today is mainly marketing managers and stuff. If you're in the e-commerce world, a lot of the stuff that you're creating has a short shelf life, unless you're just doing products that have they don't change very often. But for a lot of e-commerce companies, there is you've got seasons, you've got edits that you have to publish, and writing content around those and making it relevant, but also getting good mileage out of it as well, which is important for content, is incredibly difficult. So I think, it's very, very difficult for a lot of people, especially if you're not a content writer or a copywriter. It's very difficult, first of all, to know what content to create, but also to actually create it. It's very difficult. If you're not a natural writer, sitting in front of, like you say, kind of the black page of doom is more daunting than having a piece of content fail for a lot of people. So, it's very, very common.
Sometimes I think a lot of people go into the detail to try and find the ideas. Like they'll go and spend 3 hours on keyword research tools or something, which maybe that is the right way to go. But for me, that tends to destroy all creativity. Do you know what I mean?
Inspired by statistics?
Well, actually, I am quite inspired by statistics. But, endless reams of keyword data where you're looking at to the point that you can't remember how to spell anything anymore because you've got spelling blindness because you've seen this word so many times.
Yeah.
Given how much you loved, I'm guessing that's not we shouldn't be starting with the stats and the analysis.
No, absolutely not. I think if whether you're just getting started on your content plan, or you're brand new and you're just taking over, kind of a new campaign or whatever it is, the most basic thing that we can do, and the one that I often recommend people to start with, is literally writing down what are the most common questions you get asked. So, kind of have a word with the sales team, have a word with the kind of the owner, depending on how big the company is that you're working with. See what are the most common questions. What are the most common hurdles to the sale? And that's one of my most basic places to start, is literally what are people actually looking for, as in face-to-face conversations rather than keywords. Because keyword research is fantastic. It's definitely needed. But if you're getting started, create, I don't know, kind of industry jargon here, but content pillars. So it is, kind of we're writing topics around a set. So say if it's e-commerce, and you sell, say, women's shoes, what are the content pillars around that? It could be, okay, well, we have, kind of 4 seasons that we really sell around. It could be, what questions do we get around those? And then you could start creating blogs or social posts, email marketing around those 4 pillars. It could be, the different type of products that you sell, and then creating content around all of those types of products. It could be you have one high ticket item and you are trying to speak to 4 different target audiences. So you'd have a good hard look at those 4 different target audiences and figure out exactly what they're looking for, what they need in order to be able to buy from you. And then you're creating content around all those. So honestly, if it's never been done before, you've never done a content strategy before, I would have a good look at that. And then, of course, analyzing what works already. So if you have an established website already up and running, which I know a lot of our listeners will do, kind of have a good stats. I know you love stats. We're going into the analytics, and we are figuring out exactly what is working right now. So even if you don't have a blog right now, even if it's just having a look at social media posts, what is getting the most interactions? What products are the most looked up? What brands are the most common? And then you can create content around that.
Got you. And you mentioned about content pillars there. I think, correct me if I'm wrong on this, because I am not an SEO specialist or a content specialist either, or not written content anyway. It strikes me we've kind of there was a point in time where you could go, right, keyword, blog idea, created, tick, move on. And now as you bring them up, the content pillars piece, it's more kind of we're going after these 3 or 4 different areas, and we're going to constantly revisit and add additional content around it. So we're not trying to create the be-all, end-all blog post or piece of content about women's summer footwear. We're going to create a piece about it, and then we're going to come back and revisit that multiple times, both during the season and across the years. Is that fair to say?
A lot of people do that, and it very much works. I've got some great results lately with kind of a very in-depth kind of pillar piece. So it's a cornerstone piece, and you really go in-depth on kind of the entire topic. But then you also have supplementary pieces that go into, say, one section of that, and you create a blog post around that one section, and you go in depth into that, and then hyperlink between the two, obviously. But then it shows Google that you know what you're talking about, that you're writing about it more than once, and you, of course, are optimizing it. You're going back, you're updating it, you're kind of swapping out links, you're swapping out stats to make sure that it's up to date and the most useful. I know that the Google's update, kind of the helpful content update, was quite a while ago. If your content isn't relevant, it isn't helpful, then it's not going to be much use.
And you mentioned revisiting stuff there. I realize it's slightly off the topic of coming up with new ideas, but is it super important to go back and amend things we've done to keep them up to date, pages that do well?
Absolutely, yeah. So in an ideal world, we would at least do it, kind of once a quarter or twice a year. For most companies, it's once a year. Usually if you have a downtime or a quiet period and you're like, right, we need some new ideas, then they finally get time to do it. But yeah, we want to go and have a good hard look at what's performing well, what's working well, what's converting. So if we're taking those unicorn pieces that rank well and convert well, those are the ones you want to focus on first, and we want to expand on them. So if, kind of there are topics that are related to it, you can start writing about those and including it. If you have, kind of, I know years ago, there was always the focus on, kind of the best whatevers of this year, or, kind of that kind of stuff. Evergreen it. See if you have a piece that's performing really well, but is obviously dated, and then just make it evergreen.
And then potentially create some spin-off pieces around it. So if you've already got that perfect blog post about women's footwear for the summer, then it might be time to do a spin-off for what to put in your luggage for a beach holiday, or other similar things that go around it, update it, and then build the content around it and do all that linking.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're really getting in the shoes, pardon the pun, because we're talking about women's shoes here. We're getting in the shoes of the reader, where we're thinking about, why would somebody be looking for women's summer shoes? Kind of, they're probably going on holiday. Maybe they have, kind of formal events to attend in summer, and they really want a fantastic pair of shoes for it. So have a think around kind of the reasons why people are buying, and then the questions that they have around that. So, kind of whether it is, what to pack for a holiday, or, kind of wedding day essentials, or whatever it is. And obviously kind of make sure that it's still relevant to your overall site and what you guys do. There's a lot to be said around kind of writing what you know well, and really knowing your audience. I think that is key. You really need to know the motivations of your audience, it really helps you to create very targeted, specific conversion copy that will work.
Any quick tips for going down the personas path in 2024? Is that even possible to do quickly?
Absolutely. Do you know what? I get asked this a lot, and I always say, visualize your favorite client, your favorite customer. Just visualize them and think, okay, what is it about this customer that I really like? I know it's a little bit difficult if you're hidden away in the office and you're not on the shop floor, but that is a little bit more difficult. I mean, kind of depending on the type of company you're working for, go and meet some of the customers, see what they're like, ask them. One of the easiest ways to find out is to just ask and, kind of ask them what they like, what they don't like, a little bit about their lives that is going to be relevant to, their shopping decisions. That would be kind of my very basic advice around that, is to ask and to visualize who you want to attract, especially if you're looking to pivot into target audiences that you're not currently resonating well with.
I do love the fact of how personas have evolved in the last 10 years from their ABC1 and they fit into this mosaic profile. And I'm not going to explain mosaic, guys. You don't need to know what it is. It's old school. But, like all these kind of like the criteria we had to get them in, and we had to be confident that they were definite. And it's like, no, it's about the why and the what and the emotional stuff. So I love how you answered that. So we found all these ideas. Obviously, we can't create them all today. So that's where the content calendar comes in, helping us work out what to work on when. So how do we go about allocating it? Is it just going, I fancy writing that one, I'll put that on the calendar for this week, or should we be more strategic?
Absolutely. Strategy is everything, especially in online marketing, because timing is everything here. So say, for instance, Black Friday, obviously one of the biggest events in e-commerce, you don't want to be creating that in late October, early November time. That's too late. You've missed the boat. So if you have big events like Christmas or the holidays, kind of Black Friday, summer sales, obviously, and clearance events and stuff, you want to plan that out to be doing it a few months in advance, if possible. I know kind of the individual products may change and stuff, but the general approach to those sales and the content that you're creating around that, you can definitely plan in advance and get a little bit of the actual work done. For content calendars, I always tell people to keep it as simple as possible. So if you Google content calendar templates, you will get 1,001, and they vary from like really simple Excel sheets to like these mind-blowing, beautiful, color-coded, kind of there's thousands of different just options to fill in. That's too much for me, and I do this day in, day out. So you want to keep it as simple as possible. Don't overwhelm yourself. Just be really, really clear on who is working on what, on your deadlines. Kind of if you need to start doing it month on month, start with 1 month and just get the first month done. I'm a big fan of doing quarterly content strategies. I kind of some people do annuals, and I think, especially in the e-commerce world, things change so much. And I would hate to see somebody plan out a full year of content and then it's just like, oh wait, no, this is completely changed now and I can't use any of that. And so yeah, I would say keep it as simple as possible and use what works for you. So for me, I use Google Sheets. I don't use any fancy software. I just keep it as simple as possible. I literally have, okay, we're doing this email, we're doing these blogs, these are the people that need to sign off on it, kind of these are going to be the graphics, who's that created by, who's writing it, and, then we're off, basically. But yeah, just keep it as simple as possible.
I do love you mentioning some of those amazingly beautiful content planners, complicated content planners you can find on the internet to download. And every time I see them, I'm like, someone really didn't want to create their content calendar. They didn't actually want to do the work. They just procrastinated into beautiful, complicated design. And it's like, yeah, someone really didn't want to do it. Or, we've got a 2-year promo calendar. It's like, no,
you don't need that.
No, we know what email we'll be sending in January 2027. No, that was an error. More procrastination, avoiding the writing. Okay, so we've covered a whole load of stuff here, Abby. Some brilliant tips. Is there anything we've missed that the audience really needs to know about?
I am going to touch upon AI because it is a hot topic, obviously, and it is the bane of many a copywriter's existence at the moment. If you're not a natural writer, if it's not something in your background, feel free to use AI. There's nothing wrong with using it. But for the love of everything, edit it. Edit the stuff that comes out. Make it you. Use your brand voice. It's great for generating ideas, but you absolutely cannot publish anything AI kind of creates. If I see one more ad come up on my Facebook feed telling me to elevate my home or unleash the power of a curtain, I don't know what I'm going to do. It's just, you could just instantly tell. And you know what? That's your trust and your authority with your reader gone instantly. If you have no interest in what you're putting out there, why would they care to buy it, you know?
Yes. Yeah, there's lots of good roles for AI, but creating the completed piece is not yet what you need.
No.
Thanks. I'm really glad you added that one in. It's been great picking your brains about how to fill your content calendar with great ideas. So listeners, remember to stay tuned to the end so you don't miss out on Abby's insider tips on content marketing and my suggestions for more free resources to help you improve things even further in your businesses. Have you yet downloaded our ebook? To celebrate Keep Optimizing's sister show, eCommerce Master Plan, reaching episode 500, yeah, it's been around that long, we've created an epic e-commerce success-focused ebook. It's packed with 500 top tips about how to make your e-commerce store more profitable. And I've personally organised the whole thing into sections so you can dip in and dip out and take inspiration as and when you need it. This ebook needs to be sat on your desktop. Download your free copy right now at keepopt.com/ebook. Get 2024's most valuable e-commerce ebook now, keepopt.com/ebook. Okay, Abby, so far we've gone deep into how to fill your content calendar with great ideas. Now you get to wow us with your insider knowledge about the whole of content marketing. So for the following questions, your answer can be anything to do with content marketing, which of course does include everything we've already been talking about. Abby, are you ready?
I feel a lot of pressure, but yes, I'm ready.
Excellent on both counts. Okay, let's start with newbie advice. If we've inspired someone to take their first step, what do they need to know to give themselves the best chance of success?
I'm going to go with the keep it simple. Absolutely. And be kind to yourself. You're not going to reinvent the wheel. Kind of, you're not going to hit number one on Google in the first month of creating blog posts, and unless you're, kind of targeting something very, very niche and specific. But kind of, it's a steep learning curve getting into this, but perseverance and just stay on top of trends, stay on top of the good solid foundation of what makes good copy.
Straightforward, everybody. Keep it simple. Now, once you've started, of course, you've got to keep optimizing. So what's your favorite way to improve performance?
So you definitely want to take a good look at what is actually performing well and what isn't. So even if it is a piece that you love and you spend hours crafting, if it isn't performing well, it's time to just leave it and just move past it. Yeah, for sure. I think focus on what is working. Make it better. Don't be afraid to have a look at what other people are doing. Not that you can copy them, but so that you can differentiate from them. So you do not want to be like everybody else, especially in e-commerce. If we're positioning ourselves purely on price point, kind of is a race to the bottom of the cheapest. And thanks to certain large-scale marketplaces, we can't compete on that anymore.
Cool. If someone listening wants to learn more, is there one cheap or free resource you would recommend?
Yes, do you know what? I'm going to skip promoting kind of my own templates and stuff for the sake of a fantastic book. If you haven't read it, it's called Content Strategy for the Web by Christina Halvorsen. And it is a wonderful, wonderful book. It's only like 200 pages. It will take you through every single step of content lifecycle. And it's in very accessible, very personality-filled sentences. So anyone can read it, pick it up, know exactly how to audit their own content and figure out what to work on next and how to work on it and then optimize it going forward. Wonderful book.
Oh, that is a hot recommendation. So that was Content Strategy for the Web by Christina. I missed her surname. Christina Halvorsen. There we go, guys. Go find that and get it read. Finally, crystal ball time. What's coming up in the next 6 to 12 months that we should be getting ready for?
I think it's already kind of started. Just this proliferation of AI-generated content. So in order to actually stand out, human-written content, or at least human-edited content, is going to really reign supreme. I think people are going to get very tired very quickly of the same messaging being used, the same outlines being used. It's very, very obvious if something has been generated by AI. So even just somebody coming up with their own unique take on things is really what people are going to be looking for. Same with authority building content, and whether it's blogs, whether it's LinkedIn posts, whatever it is, just putting your unique spin and your own experiences into a piece of content will instantly make it a lot more trustworthy, and that it comes from another human.
Yeah, we're flipping, aren't we? So everyone was like, "Oh God, AI is so cool for my SEO. I'll take over." It's like, yeah, that clearly that's not going to work. Clearly, humans are the way to go. So it's kind of cool seeing that inevitable scenario being reached quite so quickly. Before I go off on that for the next hour, Abby, we are very nearly at the end of the show. So could you please let the listeners know where they can find you and your business?
Absolutely. So you can check out our website, which is thecontentlab.ie. We are based in Waterford in Ireland, so it's .ie. Or you can find us on Facebook, The Content Lab. And we also have blog writing templates and that kind of thing under contentgoodies.com. You can find us in either place.
Nice. And kudos on getting contentgoodies.com.
Oh, it's one of my crowning glories, I tell you. Just that URL, I was like, how has nobody used that before?
That URL envy going on over here. URL envy. Abby, thank you so much for being on the Keep Optimizing podcast and being so generous sharing your content marketing expertise with us. It's been awesome chatting with you.
Thank you so much for having me. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And loved it. Thank you so much.
Well, I lost count of the different ways Abby was recommending we go about thinking of ideas for content and working out what the right content to create is. And I love her super pragmatic advice on creating your content calendars. Keep it simple. Use a tool you've already got, whether it's Google Sheets or Excel or whatever tools you're using as a team. Use that to manage your content. And then look at what you're going to do on a quarterly basis. And don't forget to go back, or even just a monthly, she said, didn't she? But don't forget to go back to refresh and update that content that's performing well for you already. You can get links to all those things we discussed, the full transcript of the episode, important notes and more at keepoptimizing.com, or you can use our special direct to episode short links. Just put keepopt.com/ the number of this episode into the URL bar and you'll be redirected straight to the right episode page. When you get to the website, don't forget to get on our email list so you don't miss out on any of the cool stuff we share. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Keep Optimizing podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, then why not check out episode 193? Yeah, we're going back a bit, where we explored how to create captivating product stories. Because I know that's an element people often get challenged around, is how do I create content about my products? So we're catching up with a brilliant copywriter in episode 193 all about that. And you can also find our full thread of content marketing content by either scrolling up your feed and looking at things that start with the word content. It's not rocket science. Or you can use the short link, keepopt.com/content, that will take you to our website where you'll find all our episodes that touch on content. Please do tell your fellow marketers about the show, because I'm here. We create this to help you and them improve the performance of your e-commerce marketing. And at the moment, specifically your content marketing. Have a great week and make sure you listen to our next episode so I can help you to keep optimizing your marketing.
Access everything Keep Optimizing at keepoptimizing.com. That's with an S, not a Z.
It's time to download the 500 top tips to make your e-commerce business more profitable ebook. Go to keepopt.com/ebook now.